What's up guys, Dave here from Knives, Gadgets, and More, and today we're going to unbox and review this knife. Alright guys, so as you can see here we have a Sitivien knife, and specifically this is the Sitivien ST138. And basically I saw this knife on Amazon. It was fairly affordable, it had good reviews, so I bought it and I wanted to unbox it and check it out for this channel. So yeah, let's get to it. So first of all, Sitivien, I don't know really anything about them. All I know is that I have also bought some EDC knives, and they come in a similar box. These are Chinese produced knives. Based on the boxes, they may be produced in the same factory and just marked differently. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but just looking at the boxes, that's something that might be the case. But in my mind, that's kind of a good thing because I have really been liking the EDC knives that I have. And so if the Sitivien is also a good affordable knife, I wouldn't be surprised about that. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's unbox it and find out some more about the Sitivien ST138. Ooh, okay. Just the box and the knife in a plastic bag. Ooh, very cool. This is an interesting knife. First impressions, I am kind of liking it. Let's check deployment real quick. Oh. Alright guys, so I've kind of gathered my thoughts. I did research this knife before I bought it, so let me tell you a little bit about it and give you my thoughts about it now that I have it here in my hands. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the blade steel. So the blade steel on this is, you see it right there? Sandvik 14C28N. And from what I can gather, I'm just a novice. I'm no knife expert. I'm just a guy who likes these kind of cheap knives. But from what I can gather, this is a pretty nice knife steel for a budget knife like this. It has good edge retention, it's good at resisting corrosion, and it's kind of similar to AUS 8. So it's a pretty good budget steel, and I don't know, I'm kind of excited about it. I think it's kind of cool that Sitivien has it in this knife. This is a really cool looking knife, really unique. Alright, so next let's talk about the blade shape. So again, this is a really unique blade shape. I do like it. I love these kind of unique, this isn't a cleaver, but it's kind of like a Wharncliffe. You got that flat edge right there, which is going to be great for like slicing things. You got a little bit of a point at the end, and you also have this kind of two-toned finish on the blade, which just looks really, really cool and unique. You have the satin here, and I think this is a stonewash right here. I like the blade. Again, it's really cool, unique. Two colors on it, which just looks super cool. Let's check sharpness real quick. I think it comes pretty sharp. We're gonna do a cutting test here in a second and kind of check it out on some tomatoes that I pulled from the kitchen. It's also a flat grind, which again, I think it's gonna allow it to slice really, really well. It's just unique and really cool. I really like it. It does look like it has a finger choil right here, so you can choke up on the blade and really get some good leverage there. And yeah, let's try it out. Let's try cutting some little tomatoes that I stole from the kitchen before I started filming this video. Alright, let's see how it does. Oh yeah. I think it's pretty sharp. Slicing through these tomatoes very easily. I'm just letting gravity do its work. So look at that right there. I think it comes pretty sharp from the factory, and I think it cuts really, really well. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Give me a second to clean this up, and we'll continue talking about what you get with this knife. This is a working blade, I'm thinking. I mean, this thing is it's pretty beefy. Got a really thick spine right here. Really cool blade here. All right, I think we're good for now. I'll put a little bit of oil on it a little bit later. Should we also cut some paper? All right, let's try cutting some paper too. Let me find some. Oh yeah. I'm not good at doing this like all the real knife guys, but even me, I'm able to slice right through this paper. Super easy. So I think it's pretty sharp from the factory. Definitely good enough for me, definitely good enough for the average person, and that's all I am. So I think the blade shape, blade profile, sharpness is all very, very good. Now the next thing I want to talk about is the handle. So the handle on this one is brown micarta, which is a great handle material in my opinion, and I really like these scales. They are grippy enough. They're micarta, so they're grippy. You can see they are kind of broad. That's not a big deal for me because my hands are medium to large. I wear large size gloves, but it is kind of broad going this way, and it's also kind of narrow going this way, which is something I like because that's going to make it easier to carry when I put it in my pocket. But like I was saying, it is a little broad, but for me, that's perfect. It feels really comfortable in hand. There's not really any hot spots. I can feel the clip, but it's not digging in, even if I squeeze really tightly. You do have a little bit of jumping up here on the spine, which is cool. And like I said before, you do have that finger choil, so you could choke up if you really want some leverage as you're cutting. I think the brown micarta looks really cool, but it does come in some other colors as well. So you can kind of pick and choose what you want. I like this one. I think it looks really cool with that two-tone blade. Yeah, it's awesome. All right, now let's talk about the locking mechanism. So you can see right here, this is called a liner lock, and it's a very popular locking system for a knife. To close the blade, all you have to do is take this liner right here and push it to the side, and then the blade will close. And then to deploy the blade, you have the flipper right here, which I love. I love flippers because they just make the knives really easy to deploy, and they're good for fidgeting, which is what I love to do with these little knives. So right there, good smooth deployment, which I always am looking for. I don't want it to be a chore to have to open the knife, even on these more affordable blades like this one. So yeah, the deployment, really easy with that flipper. And then to close, let's see, oh, snaps right closed. So yeah, no issues there. Good deployment, easy to close, which is the way it always should be in my opinion. Let's check and see if there's any blade play. Maybe a tiny bit, if any, not anything I'm worried about. The alignment, I think it looks pretty good. You got the spacer right there. Overall fit and finish looks pretty good to me too. All right, next thing I want to talk about is the clip. So as you can see right here, you have a standard clip. What is that, satin finish? Sits fairly low. Again, doesn't really dig into your hand when you're holding the knife. Is it reversible? No. And it sets you up for tip up carry only. You can't swap it to the other side. Let's go ahead and put it in a pocket and see how it looks. Okay, so as you can see, you got the standard clip, not a deep carry clip, which I generally prefer deep carry clips, but standard clip's okay. It's okay to have a little bit of the knife sticking out, but you can see about how much will stick out of your pocket. Maybe that's something you like, maybe that's something you don't like. I don't know. I don't really care either way, but that's what it looks like. One of the things I do really care about though is that thickness of the overall scales. And again, this knife is fairly thin, which I think is great because it sits pretty flat in your pocket, and that always makes it more comfortable to carry it around. So I really like that. I have not carried this knife around, obviously, I just unboxed it, but I am going to carry this knife around in the next few weeks, and I'm looking forward to doing it because I think it's going to be really comfortable. It's not an overly heavy knife. I don't have a scale, otherwise I would weigh it for you, but just my overall impression of it, it's not heavy, it's not bulky, it's fairly thin, so it's going to sit flat in your pocket, and I think it's going to be a pretty good, pretty comfortable knife to carry around. Now real quick, I do want to give you an idea of the size of this knife. So when it's closed, here is a quarter, because everybody knows the size of a quarter. So it's not a small knife. And then if we measure it out, when the knife's closed, it's about 4.5 inches. And then if we deploy the blade, about 8 inches, maybe just under. So I think it's a good sized knife. It's not as big as some other knives, like here for example is the Grow, what is this, the EF335. That's a little bit larger knife, and this one is kind of bulky to carry around. Not bad, but just holding the two knives right here, I can tell you that this one is going to be a more comfortable knife to carry around in my pocket, for sure. Those thinner scales are awesome, and this is a beefy blade, like I said. This thing is going to handle some boxes and whatever else you need to cut. And aside from that, it's also kind of cool. If your buddies see you with this, they're gonna be like, what the heck is that? That's pretty cool. Looks different. Alright, so overall thoughts on the Sitivien ST138. Still a little dirty, I gotta clean this thing off after I finish filming this. Well, I like it. What do I like about it? I like the steel that you get, the Sandvik 14C28N. I think that's a pretty cool steel, pretty good steel for a budget knife. I like that it comes sharp, definitely sharp enough for me. Cutting the paper and the tomatoes. I really love the way it looks overall. I think it's a really cool looking knife. It's unique. I love knives with fat old blades like this. The micarta, the brown micarta looks really cool. I also really like that you have that satin finish and the stone wash finish together. I think it looks cool. I think it, I don't know, just sets the knife apart a little bit, which is definitely a good thing when you have a budget knife. It also has these kind of fullers or whatever. I don't know what they are, but they look cool and they add a little bit of design to the knife. So overall, the looks of it are awesome. Cut's great. Blade shape is cool. The grips are thin, so it's going to be easy to carry around. Fit and finish looks good. And then most importantly of all, deploys very easily and smoothly, which is what I'm always looking for in these budget knives. I don't like knives that don't deploy smoothly, and this one definitely fits the bill. So if you're interested in this knife, what I would tell you is that I did buy this one. I'm happy I bought it, and I think if you like the way it looks, you'll like the way it feels and the way it performs when you get it. So I do recommend it because I do think it's a cool and quality budget knife. Now, if you are interested in picking up this knife, I will leave a link in the description below. That will be an affiliate link, and it will help out this channel if you enjoyed the review. Other than that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in the next video. See ya.